600 AM from like Baton Rouge to Pensacola, Florida. Take the show with you on the road. Speaking of taking the 2-hour talk radio, we're on YouTube, The Neutral, and right now live on YouTube. And after the fact, check us out on YouTube. As a matter of fact, click to subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. Click to subscribe, doesn't cost anything. The first 90 minutes of the 2-hour talk radio program on the television set statewide, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Cox Channel 4 TV, Slidell, Covington, Mandeville, Hammond, Houma, Thibodaux, Opelousas, Spectrum Channel 333 television. Yeah, you right. A full slate on this Tuesday, including some after the holidays $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. I know a lot of you took advantage of the Woodhouse Day Spa and those gift cards for her. Yeah, smart. Was I right? She loved it. What? Not disappointed. Better than the weed eater you got her last time as a gift. Yikes. Nothing worse than a disappointed lady. Nothing worse than a disappointed gift. Nothing worse. I mean, my God, especially when they're being totally just honest and fair about it. And you kind of in the mirror all of a sudden going, what were you thinking? That is the dumbest gift. No wonder she doesn't like it. Poor you, dumb. Boy, that was more for you than her, wasn't it, that gift? That kind of thing. No, Woodhouse Day Spa solves a lot of problems when it comes to gifts for her. I've got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away in a minute. It's a little trivia, mostly New Orleans-based trivia, although I've got one about Girl Scout cookies. The Rouse's Markets phone lines are open, 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. That's how you dial us up. Miss Peaches at the controls, fielding your phone calls. It's a new year, Miss Peaches. Miss Peaches' New Year's resolution is to slow down from 90 miles an hour on the interstate to 85. I'm like, that's not a good New Year's resolution. She's got a lead foot when she's making the commute back home to the Avondale area. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. A week ago today, things were going really well in New Orleans, New Year Eve. No one knew in about, 10 hours? 11 hours? Everything would change. I mean, 3 hours into the new year, this Jabbar, this terrorist. You saw the latest Miss Peaches tooling around on like the little girl's bike, the little kid's bike in the quarter. A few days before, just scouting things out. Look, I'm not trying to cut the city any slack. I'm on the city like, it's nobody's business. But the bollards and the barrier thing is just so overblown because it was never terrorist proof. Sidewalks were always accessible. If that ramp thing was up at the barrier, if the 4 bollards were in at Iberville, could have gone around. I went yesterday with a tape measure and measured from the bollard to the wall, from the barrier to the wall. A F-150 Lightning's 80 inches wide. On Canal Street, it was 9 feet wide. So he's got like a foot, maybe 15 inches on either side of the truck to blow through there. And then it's about 12 feet by Felix's, by Iberville, if the bollard's in the ground. I mean, easy solution. You need 1 bollard in each sidewalk. So you've got the ones across the street and then the 2 in the sidewalk in a vehicle, and then the buildings can't get through. But barrier or bollards up in place. The most, now the thing is the city's got some coming before the Super Bowl, and they're the cheapest, most inferior ones available. You have the most Mac Daddy ones in place. A barrier that's like the Hoover Dam at Canal can go around it on the sidewalk, can go around the bollards at Iberville. So all that needs to be straight. But my goodness, I spoke about it yesterday. Just a lot of irresponsible comments from some media members, some irresponsible comments from politicians, bringing up violent crime and crime capital of America. It's like, hey, let's sell it the other way, okay? My goodness. I mean, could you, if you have a restaurant, what are you going to be? You're going to talk about the food on air, or are you going to talk about their rats by the dumpster out back? It's just unbelievable. President in town yesterday. In 13 days, a week from Monday, Donald Trump is in, Joe Biden is out, President of the United States. 4 years of Donald Trump starting a week from Monday. Like it, hate it. Get ready to live it. Boy, this 25-year-old Bogalusa mayor, Tyron Trong, arrested, drug trafficking, prostitution. This guy was like a rising star. Beat an incumbent. He was just 23 at the time. In a couple of years, just downhill quick. Hey, for whatever it's worth, I just thought of Cleo Fields when I saw this guy. No, Cleo Fields wasn't busted for drug trafficking or prostitution, but was doing some shady stuff with Edwin Edwards, criminal activity. He's our congressman from Louisiana, one of our 6 congressmen. Operation Sideswipe, a couple of those attorneys. The big fish in federal court today. I'll fill you in on that. Hey, speaking of Donald Trump as president, a week from Monday, he was not ruling out military action if we feel like taking Greenland from Greenland, which really is Denmark. I think it's like a Danish territory. And the Panama Canal, we're going to take that thing back. And Donald Trump might, because he likes the sound of it. Beautiful ring to it. Beautiful ring to it. Gulf of America. Shouldn't be the Gulf of Mexico. We got to change the name of that thing. And lastly, the Mississippi River will become the Donald Trump River. All right, I'm making that one up. But all the other ones are real. Greenland, Panama Canal, Gulf of America. I call it Trump talk. That's it. Trump talk. You can take it however you want. I know Trump supporters are like, he didn't mean that, or he meant that, and isn't it great? They've kind of figured out the code, or at least they think they have. So maybe that's Trump talk to you. Maybe you're some left wing person. You're like Trump talking BS, nonsense. Just Mexico's going to pay for the wall type stuff. Just pulling comment in the old rear end area. The Pels are on a 2-game win streak. Zion Williamson is back. I say play him. Hope he plays well. They're going to play him. Hope he plays well. And trade him before early next month's NBA trade deadline, right? 5.5, 6 seasons of pretty much nothing. You got to just bite the bullet. No, you hope he plays phenomenal basketball, so you can get something of value for him. Audubon gutters, something of value for my house. Yeah, I got Audubon gutters installed at my house a couple of months ago, featuring the Leaf Guard system. I'll literally never have to clean my gutters again. AudubonGutters.com. Where else would you go for gutters for your home or business in the Metro New Orleans area? AudubonGutters.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Out from the crowd, come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I... Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
New Orleans talk giant Corey Johnson on the neutral ground.
I'll have the entire city of New Orleans with the palm of my hand.
In Metro New Orleans on 93.9 FM and 107.9 FM. Also from Baton Rouge to Pensacola, Florida on 600 AM and 1560.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you on a Tuesday afternoon. Miss Peach is fielding your phone calls, 766-9480. If you'd like to pick up a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate, good at any of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Got a couple of trivia questions. Hey, no Google, no search engines, no intranet device. You either know the answer or you don't. Rouse's Markets phone to participate. 766-9480. Bourbon Street, a week ago tonight, 3 a.m., a little after 3. You know, these bollards, these barriers. You've got to cover all of Bourbon, all the side streets. How many side streets in the French Quarter on Bourbon between Canal and Esplanade? Hey, no Google Maps. You either know the answer or you don't. How many side streets in the French Quarter on Bourbon between Canal and Esplanade? Look, if you're within 1 or 2, I'm probably pretty lenient. It's holiday season still, the tail end. It's a new year. I'm in the giving mood. Might tighten you up with a $50. That's right, $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. How many side streets in the French Quarter on Bourbon between Canal and Esplanade? GQ on the North Shore would have picked up a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. He emailed us, Corey at Corey Talks. Corey at Corey Talks. You can email us too. No, he was within 1. He was within 1. How many side streets in the French Quarter on Bourbon between Canal and Esplanade? We'll get an answer on this, and someone will get a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate, and it'll give us an idea of how many bollards would be needed from Canal Street to Esplanade traversing Bourbon Street. Because that's what you essentially have to do. If you go to my Twitter at Corey Johnson, there's about 3 or 4 videos stacked right up at the top. I haven't posted anything really but those things from yesterday with a tape measure going down to Canal and Bourbon, going down to Bourbon and Iberville, where the barrier is, how much of a gap there is on the sidewalk, where the bollards are at Iberville, how much of a gap on the sidewalk. More than enough for an 80-inch Ford F-150 electric truck to get through. More than enough room. No, but it gives you an idea of the solution. The 4 bollards, and not the ones that the city's ordering, but like some that are hardier, that can withstand a terrorist attack type thing, the best they make. 4 bollards in the street, that's enough. But you need 1 on each sidewalk, where it would be 6 across in between the buildings on on Bourbon Street. Let's hit the phone line. So that's lots of bollards. Rob joins us in New Orleans. How are you, Rob?
Oh, I think I'm like everybody else, kind of in a state of shock, from last week. But, I'm thinking it's 12. I know, like, the last block between Barracks and Esplanade is the 1,300 block. So it depends what you mean by sides. Are you counting Canal and Esplanade? It must be 12 or 13.
I like the 12 and 13. I think it's 13 for like Bourbon and a few of those, streets south of the backside of the cathedral, because Orleans, dead ends into the back of the cathedral. I guess Orleans dead ends into what? Royal? And
but it crosses Bourbon.
Right. No, right. So that's like the 13th Street. It's like 6 on either side of Orleans. You said 12 or 13, so you really nailed it. It's for some of the French Quarter streets, it's 12 blocks across, but for the ones on the lower side of the quarter, the north side, I guess, if you want to put it that way, there's Orleans running through the middle as well. So, 12 or 13, but Bourbon Street, 13.
Yeah, Clay Shaw lived at 1313 Dauphine, but right above Esplanade. So there's 13 blocks. But, Corey, I wanted to I haven't called in since, the disaster, but just a lot of stuff. I think New Orleans, it's really, I'm sure you're a consumer of all kinds of media, and this is playing internationally in some not so good ways. The press conference was an absolute disaster. On every political side of the spectrum, especially Kennedy's thing when he made that dig at NBC, and the mayor is amazing. I saw her last night on TV saying, it was one of the national news programs saying, we're going to make an assessment. People are like, what do you mean an assessment? That kind of thing. But an interesting thing during the press conference, I'm sure Jeff Landry doesn't like LaToya Cantrell, but he kind of came to her defense in a way because, and by the way, obviously, Ann Kirkpatrick, who I think is doing a great job the day of the disaster, the second headline was crime is cut in half. She just said that dumb thing about the sidewalk. I mean, you got to cut her some slack. I mean, there was all kinds of stuff going wrong with that press conference and the bollards and the wedges. But here's the thing, and I'm not a fan of Jeff Landry or LaToya Cantrell, and they all look terrible. But I will say this. He made a good point. If let's say they stopped him from going down Bourbon Street, that lunatic would have gone down the sidewalk of Canal Street or gone down to Frenchman Street or gone. You think if we stopped him from going down Bourbon Street, he wasn't going to kill people?
No, that's Rob. I've been saying that the whole time. First off, if the barrier was up and it was as strong as it can be, if the bollards were up as strong as can be, the truck did go around on Canal and could have continued down that sidewalk and could have gone around the bollards if they were up at Iberville very easily by Felix's. It's a Ford electric truck. He probably rented that on purpose because it accelerates like a Corvette. It's heavy. Right. It's electric. It's a ton heavier than a regular F-150, and it's a truck. It's got a big broad front. Yet it could still go around those things. So Rob, the media. Who's the guy on Fox, the Arroyo or Ayoya? I don't even know this guy's like a proclaimed New Orleanian. I think most New Orleanians have no idea who he is except some Fox folks. Kind of looks like Pee Wee Herman. You know, he was he was dogging Kirkpatrick, not knowing that those archers were available. It's like, you know how much stuff is in city warehouses that the council, the mayor, the police chief unaware of? No one anywhere, including the chief, the council, the mayor, any citizen, media member, no one anywhere was saying, better solidify those sidewalks for a terrorist attack during the Sugar Bowl.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, the thing I didn't like Kennedy taking a shot at NBC. That was really unnecessary. I didn't see Billy Nunn yesterday, but I heard he tore into LaToya Cantrell.
No, I mean he tore into Cantrell, tore into the barrier not working, all this stuff, when none of it was going to be terrorist proof anyway. Now they're going to terrorist proof the quarter. They're going to have all kind of obstacles and layers to get through, and you're not going to be able to barrel a vehicle down Bourbon Street again. But your last point, Rob, was right on the money, and I've been saying that. This guy today, they showed pictures of him on a little kid's bike riding through the quarter, scouting out the quarter. I mean, Georgia, Notre Dame, tens of thousands of fans heading to the Dome on Poydras Street. Traffic still flowing on Poydras. Takes his F-150 Lightning, jumps the curb, and runs over hundreds of people. I mean,
exactly.
Anyone that wants to, lose their life doing this in a city like New Orleans, any city in America, any arena, stadium, concert, sporting event, anything like that going on, a big funeral for someone, any event where a big crowd is, some loser that's willing to lose his life can kill a lot of people.
Absolutely. So even if the bollards had worked or the wedges were whatever, he was going to take out a ton of people no matter what, So, yeah, but there's a lot of blame going around, and I don't know. And I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sure you heard some of this stuff in the national media, and it's. I mean, it's like what would you have done any differently? And in a way, Ann Kirkpatrick's response on TV was very honest. He said that we had a defense system and he defeated it. I mean,
no, they did. They had the SUV blocking the street, went up on the curb. I mean, it's and the people just like the anchors. It's like the anchors are just some big, heavy, clunking metal thing that they put there. They could put anything there. SUV, police cruiser. They're not designed to be placed on the sidewalk in the quarter. They don't want to put those big, heavy things on a slate sidewalk and ruin a newly done, sidewalk. They're for the street. They're supposed to be latched together in a group. They need a bollard in each sidewalk. It needs to be professionally done. All this is going to happen. It's going to the Bourbon Street's going to have terrorist proof, like enhanced, barriers and bollards. And it's going to happen sooner than later. But you can't do a 5-mile long parade route or a line by Jazz Fest. I mean, it's impossible. So,
yeah. And you make a really good point. What if he had decided, well, let's say he got foiled at Bourbon Street, and then the next day decided to go down Poydras in front of the Sugar Bowl, right?
Yep.
He killed 100 people. Like that guy, remember in Nice, France, a few years ago, went down that boardwalk. He killed 100 people with an automobile.
Yep. No, I want to harden things. I'm not saying the city didn't drop the ball on stuff, but the to blame the city is way beyond ridiculous. The Pee Wee Herman guy on Fox saying Kirkpatrick needs to go, didn't know the Archers existed, way beyond. The politicians playing politics. It should just be terrorist attack. Could have happened anywhere. City's not to blame. Let's get a bunch of federal money to harden some key areas in New Orleans. Instead, it's all this dysfunction in New Orleans. It doesn't help anybody, just the politicians. Coming right back. Hey, Rob, don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and from the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop. For over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you. Total maintenance keeps you cool. AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. AC.com, your cool spots.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travel, chef owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian, draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from... Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Changing talk radio in New Orleans for the better. It's Corey Johnson on the Neutral Ground. Every weekday afternoon on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333 from 4 p.m. to 5:30.
Yeah, you right. And on the radio, oh so fine, 93.9 from 4 to 6. 2 big hours. Like on YouTube, the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're live there right now. Hey, this 4 o'clock hour this afternoon brought to you by the Grand Victorian. Want to stay somewhere special in New Orleans? You're checking us out in Baton Rouge or Lafayette or Southern Mississippi, somewhere outside of New Orleans. You like traveling to New Orleans? You want to stay somewhere special? The ultimate bed and breakfast on the historic St. Charles Avenue streetcar line in the Garden District. The Grand Victorian. Maybe a dozen rooms available. Mansion, perfectly placed for visiting New Orleans, near local attractions, near local restaurants on St. Charles Avenue, steps from Britannia Magazine. Now, if you're listening or watching from outside the city, great place to visit. If you're not visiting, you're not an out-of-towner, it is the ultimate staycation for locals to enjoy the city. For that special weekend getaway. Still rooms available for the Super Bowl, for Valentine's Day weekend, for Jazz Fest and French Quarter Fest. Rooms still available. Sold out for Mardi Gras. The Grand Victorian on St. Charles Avenue. GVBB.com. Check out their website. GVBB.com. Book a room right now online. The Grand Victorian. GVBB.com. 4 o'clock hour on this Tuesday afternoon brought to you by the Grand Victorian. It's cold out there. Ridiculously cold. All right, New Orleans standards, ridiculously cold. Second day in a row, a little colder than yesterday. Yesterday morning, it was like 33, 34. This morning, it was like 32. North Shore, that means mid-20s, below freezing. I mean, South Shore, you got to do the triple P gimmick. Protect plants, your pipes. Most importantly, outdoor pets. Protect your pets. North Shore, folks, it's like triple P on steroids. You better protect the plants, the pipes, the pets. Starting out in the 20s and the like. No, it's cold. And it's sort of a rinse and repeat. Warms up a little bit, but not much. Not much. Wednesday and Thursday, basically the same thing. By this weekend, I mean, we could see like 50-something on Friday because some rain coming in and another cold front, another Arctic blast coming through. I thought an Arctic blast was that thing you got with Oreos. It's at Dairy Queen or, Sonic. Arctic blast. Yes, I'd like double Oreos, please. Those are good. Because that crappy ice cream, whatever, it's Dairy Queen or, Sonic. They can't be using some high quality ice cream, right? But they compensate by add more sugar to it. So it's like the sweetest damn ice cream on planet Earth, which makes it pretty good. With Oreos, with just where lard and sugar and butter and fat, and how Dawson is right. How can you go wrong with that? I like when they turn it upside down for you and then give it to you. Yeah, exactly. It's just a big, you could throw it against the wall, it would stick. Anyway, it's a little cold out there. Arctic blast with Oreos, please. No, this goes into like next week, through the weekend into next week. Crazy. I'm seeing 39 a week from Thursday, like dipping back in again. Wow. We had like no winter going on, huh? I mean, we had like a little bit. October and November were warm. December was warm. Had a few little, you might wear a coat one night for a little while. The next day it's 65 degrees. Now we got winter, and it's a prolonged winter. Anyway, it's kind of refreshing. It's kind of nice. Something different. Just bundle up right, dress right flip-flop, shorts, and a t-shirt and go, it's cold outside. Gimmick, you can pull the gloves out, the hat, the old big coat, as we call it in New Orleans, the big coat. Well, it's not like you can have a variety of big coats because you wear the single big coat like 10 days a year, like tops, like if that exactly. You wear the big coat if you travel a little bit more out of town than you ever would in New Orleans. So, yeah, people in New Orleans that have many big coats like they live in New York or something or Minnesota. Wow. Good for you with the big coat collection. You wear each one once a winter in New Orleans. President Biden, Lady Jill Biden in town yesterday, went to St. Louis Cathedral, went down to Bourbon Street to the memorial. If you go to my Twitter at Corey Johnson, I posted a video. One video is the memorial that is there. I mean, you kind of get to see what's going on. Lots of national, local media set up there. 14 candles, 14 roses, 14 crosses, and then lots of paint pens and Sharpie messages written on the wall of that building. I guess the lake side of Bourbon at Canal, going up Bourbon Street. So that's the first video, just kind of show you. And then that video ends with a pretty good look at that street barrier that's on Bourbon Street, a few feet in from Canal Street. That was in the down position that so many folks freaked out about. Second video shows me standing next to that street barrier, pulling out a ruler, you know, measuring the distance from the building to that barrier in the street. So I pulled it out 9 feet, about 108 inches from the building to where the barrier starts in the street. A Ford F-150 Lightning is 80 inches across. 80 inches. Like, what is that? 6 feet, 8 inches, something like that. 6'8". That's what the width of a Ford F-150 Lightning is. 6'8" wide. 6 feet 8 inches. It was 9 feet, 108 inches gap on the. It would be going into Bourbon Street, the left sidewalk where the memorial is, where the lake side of Bourbon. More than enough room for the truck to go on the sidewalk like it did and go around the barrier if it was up. The next block, Bourbon at Iberville, if the 4 bollards were in place, it's even a wider gap on the right sidewalk by Felix's, about 12 feet. This guy scouted out the French Quarter on a bicycle, like a little kid. They got video of him tooling down Bourbon like 2 days before the attack on a bike. Did he drive around a lot? Yes. Did he walk around a lot? I'm sure he did. So he knew exactly what was going on. If he wouldn't have picked Bourbon, and he could have done basically exactly what he did if the barrier was up and the bollards were in place. If he didn't pick Bourbon, he would have picked another spot where there would have been a lot of people and a high casualty number. He's just sick individual. Sick. That second video shows the distance from the barrier to the wall of the building. And the third video, I go down to Bourbon and Iberville. Even wider gap between the bollard on the street, where the bollard would be, the little cap in the street, to basically Felix's Oyster Bar. It's about 12 feet, about a yard wider than Canal and Bourbon. So just basic common sense, simple common sense. If the 4 bollards are in place, the street's pretty secure. If they're up to, terrace proof, can stop a truck. But you need a bollard of equal strength, one each, on each sidewalk, just one. So you would have, if you're at the foot of Canal Street at Bourbon, it'd be a bollard in the sidewalk 4 in the street, and another one on the other sidewalk to your right. And then probably in between Canal Street and Iberville, that first block of Bourbon, you probably run 6 bollards in the middle of that block. 1 each sidewalk, 4 in the street. Then when you get to the next corner, same thing. You got to do it. You need 20 times 6 bollards. You have about 20 corners. You have 12 or 13 streets that run through the quarter. You're going down Bourbon, about a dozen streets, 13 streets to Esplanade that Bourbon crosses in the French Quarter. You need bollards on each corner. Even going, the guy could go the wrong way. So every corner of every side street, you need bollards. It would be 20 total if you had them on Canal Street, Esplanade, doubling up those first blocks and then having them every block on each corner. 6 across. 1 on each sidewalk and 4 on the street. No, and they've got to be hardy, not the ones the city cutting corners and doing it on the cheap. LaToya Cantrell for the Super Bowl, ordering the cheapest, crappiest bollards available. Just stop that. No need to even install those or put those in. Waste of time. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday. Yeah, you right. Don't go anywhere, New Orleans. Put on a coat. It's cold out there.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you. The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Store or online at rouses.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Your New Orleans paint store.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Port of New Orleans is global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail. It all happens right here, delivering the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette, Streetcar Barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters, and you'll never have to clean gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 460 94 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. Get Audubon Gutters.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com. Your cool spot.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Yeah, you right. Tuesday afternoon, Corey Johnson back at you. Rouse's Markets phone lines 766-9480. 766-9480. We go to Metairie. John joins us in Metairie, a.k.a. New Orleans West, home of traffic, lots and lots of traffic. What up, John?
Hey, you're missing one point. You got to build these things like they do at embassies and at Air Force bases and Bollard, but you can still fit smaller vehicles, those three-wheel motorcycles through there. These people want to kill someone. They're going to use a deflector to stop them from being able to turn and come in, which is impossible to get through like they do at those kind of compounds.
Oh, you're talking about like the panel that's like 2 or 3 feet tall that flaps up and down?
Yeah, but you put the bollard, but then you like 2 or 3 feet back, you got to have a straight panel like or the concrete barrier so that you can't just drive straight in.
Oh, no, got you. Where you got to zigzag through.
A motorcycle is going to go through, or one of those little three-wheel motorcycles, and they can cause just as much damage.
No, that's a really good point. Besides like a staggered approach, you've got to be, directing people in different directions.
You got to have a deflector in between.
Yeah,
that stops it.
I agree, John.
To fix it, you got to look at the whole situation, and you got to look how they do it in the Middle East, and where they have all this kind of problems, and that's what they do at the bases and the embassies.
Yep. This kind of blows me away. This is just so ready, fire, aim to me. NOPD Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick has come under fire after admitting she was unaware the city had archers that could have been used to protect sidewalks and prevent vehicles from entering Bourbon Street. Critics argue this oversight highlights broader gaps in the city's approach to public safety. Have you ever seen those archers on a sidewalk in the French Quarter ever? And have you heard anyone say, boy, you better protect those? Anyone during Essence Fest during the summer, anyone during New Orleans Bowl, anyone during Bayou Classic say, you better protect the sidewalks from vehicles that could enter there. This is all after the fact Monday quarterbacking, total Correct. BS. And Ann Kirkpatrick, violent crimes way down. She's got to be part of one of many reasons, as many spokes on the wheel that are working. She's not a negative, but this kind of criticism, I think, is uncalled for. And I don't know Ann Kirkpatrick. I just think this is ridiculous.
No, I mean, it seems like she's trying to do a job, but the bigger, you got to also think that, even though all these things, even what happened in the Middle East and this, we lost a lot of soldiers because people drove through. Then they went to these F systems to try to get in. It's just, we're reactionary. We're not forward thinking. And you got to be forward thinking and look at what works in other areas in these similar situations, because it's no different than a car trying to drive into a base and kill as many people as they can.
I don't know if we're going to have it for the Super Bowl. I mean, it might just be some large trucks, garbage trucks, buses, something like that, blocking entrances. But I think the feds recognize Bourbon Street. It's, this is a bigger thing than New Orleans by itself. I think the feds are going to come in and terrorist-proof Bourbon Street from that type of thing that you're talking about.
Well, maybe on big events like this, you need to have Homeland Security have a detail that comes in and checks things of this magnitude, Kentucky derbies and
well, they are doing it for the Super Bowl. And if you heard the news in the last 24 hours, the mayor got the feds. They're going to do it for Mardi Gras now. So we're going to have this Tier 1 enhanced security. A lot of feds
secure a parade route. What's
that?
You can't secure a parade route.
No.
Somebody's driving down St. Charles and wants to take out all the people on the tracks.
Yeah,
you're helpless.
No, but you can flood it with a lot more law enforcement, and that can, slow the thing down. I mean, that's probably why this guy didn't kill more. Law enforcement was pretty proactive and aggressive.
Yeah. Well,
and there were a lot of them down there.
We got to militarize everything. We're going to have cops. We're going to have cops and locked and loaded, National Guard on every corner, and it's just going to take away from the fun, and it's going to scare people away.
Yeah, no, you're right, John. You can't have that. It's America.
Yeah.
We're going to have concerts and sporting events and festivals and parties and celebrations, and there's going to be crowds.
And the Telegraph, and they said that the components that made up these bombs was not available in the Western Hemisphere. It had to come from someplace. And this was from, the UK, the Telegraph, which is pretty decent source, I thought.
Yeah, I didn't hear that I didn't hear that the chemicals had to come from somewhere far away. All I heard was that it was materials that weren't used previously for bombs, and it would have been an effective bomb.
Right. Well, there was a different twist to it from the UK. From most of the people that are covering it, the UK, the way how they looked at it, the UK. I mean, it's just they're looking at it from afar, and you get a clearer picture than the people that are on top of it that are, we're very hyper focused.
Yep. No, sometimes that's true.
Not going to see the broader pictures.
No, it's good to get as many sources as you can and know where they come from and the angle they start from, and then you can come to consensus and probably get closest to the truth.
True.
John, thanks, man.
Keep up your good work.
No, great call. Great points. John in Metairie. Yeah, he's right. You got to have that like zigzag thing when you're coming in where someone can't just go in a straight line. They've got to go left and right. It's like skiing down a mountain. Can't just tuck in and go 90 miles an hour. You got to zigzag, and that will slow things down. And then if it is some lunatic, that gives police time to react. No, a trio of reasons stand out to me why it was an F-150 electric truck. Because it accelerates like a Ferrari, 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds or something, like under 4 seconds, 0 to 60. And nearly 800 pounds of torque, more horsepower and torque than a Corvette, nearly double the torque. And a truck, it's a big, broad vehicle, coupled with it's electric, the batteries. An F-150 electric weighs a ton, 2,000 pounds more than a regular F-150, a big, heavy vehicle. Corey Johnson with you, 5 o'clock Power Hour next.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. Fox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralock technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com. Your cool spot.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Chatoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown, Ferret at the corner of Valence, is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King. Hey, New Orleans. If you've ever wanted to experience life on St. Charles Avenue, now is your chance. The Grand Victorian, the ultimate bed and breakfast in the Garden District on the streetcar line. Built in 1893, this magnificent house will make your special weekend getaway special. To find out more, go to gvbb.com. That's gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian, where the locals go to get away.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Crescent City and beyond. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way. Rob in New Orleans. Picked up a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. So funny, Miss Peaches. My nephew, who's just he's like a hustler. He does like a bunch of different things. He's got 2 trucks, 2 crews that cut grass and all that. I can call him and be like, I need some azaleas or get me some sod or some mulch or whatever, and he'll get it. And he's like, got the sod. Where do you want my guys to put it down? I was just texting them, and I hadn't hit send yet. And I looked down, and it says, I want it in between the driveway, where that little strip of grass is. Also, where I get in my car, put a few pieces there because it's muddy. Yeah, you're right. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way. That's all on the text because I had the microphone thing gimmick going. Now, I'll tell you one better, Miss Peaches. My sister lives in Virginia, and I'm texting her. And I was texting her. I was driving. So later that day, I was like, I got to text my sister, and I go to her name, and I hit text. And it's this long text, and it says, hey, great seeing you over the weekend. Hope everything's going well. Yeah, I forgot what it was. I was picking out something. I was like, I like the first photo better than the second one. I think what a good idea would be, hey, you dumb SOB, I can't believe this piece of blank. Get a driver's license, you worthless. So obviously I was texting while driving earlier that day to my sister. And in the middle of it, some guy almost cut me off, and I'm mouthing off to this person alone in the car. And then I put the phone down because it was so dramatic, almost got in a wreck type of thing. Right. And no, it wasn't because I was texting while driving. No. Because it was the audio but I just laughed at myself okay, Corey. Miniature road rage. I mean, didn't see me. I'm behind him. Talking to yourself, that's probably not a good thing. I'm alone in the car. I'm mouthing off. Get a license. What are you doing? All this is on the text. It's like, yeah, maybe some introspection's needed, Miss Peaches, a little self-evaluation after that nonsense. But I erased it and sent the text to my sister without all the road rage crap. And now I'm sending the sod placement text to my nephew without all the, yeah, you're right, 5 o'clock power hour on the bottom of the text, which would be really confusing. Got a good one lined up for you on this Tuesday afternoon. Ridiculously cold. We peaked out about 44, 45 degrees. It's nice, though. It's a nice change of pace. We haven't had any kind of winter. It's going to be here for a week and a half. So you can either go outside and freeze your tail off, or you can put on a coat and a hat and gloves and a scarf and dress right. You get the big coat out, like I said last hour. But it's brisk, it's crisp, it wakes you up. I mean, if you're kind of in a slow, warm, lazy mode, like you like in the hot shower, no, it's like a cold shower. It gets you going, but it's nice. It's a nice change of pace. We actually have winter weather. It's winter outside in New Orleans right now. Makes sense. My God, going into Christmas, it was 75 degrees. 2 days ago, it was 75. It was 75 at 10 o'clock at night on Sunday. 7 hours later, it was from 73 to 37, a flip-flop. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Yeah, when we wake up in the morning, it'll be low 30s on the South Shore, mid to high 20s on the North Shore. Triple P, protect plants, pipes, most importantly, pets. Protect the live animals. It's going to be cold, especially on the North Shore. Hey, the Rouse's Markets phone lines are open, 766-9480. 766-9480. Uh-oh. I just got an email from Mark in Old Metairie. Speeding, texting, no blinkers. What's he telling me, Miss Peaches? I probably go over the speed limit a lot, on the interstate and stuff. I mean, not 95 or 100, but, I'd go more than 70 when it's 70. When I go across the causeway, I put it on cruise control 67 or 68. It's a 65. So I guess I'm speeding. Yeah, I'm bad with blinkers. If I'm
blowing by someone on the interstate, I'm just like, I'm past them. But yeah, I should probably notify them and the people in front of me that I'm getting over. So yeah, I need to do better with blinkers. Texting, the verbal text. Yeah. Texting and driving's dangerous. You're just asking to get into a wreck. Nothing's worse when you are stuck behind someone, you think there's a lot of traffic, then you got to go look around, and they're like, no one's in front of them. You pass them, and as you pass them, they're just looking down at their phone. Wow. What do you mean that's the worst, Miss Peaches? That's your generation. No, that's younger than you. That's let's see. You're what? You're Gen X barely?
Barely, yes.
What's the one after you?
Millennial.
Yeah, the millennials are a nightmare. Yeah. And then what's after those freaks? Zennials, Z, Gen Z. Yeah, just lazy, don't want to work. No 2 weeks notice, just don't show up that day. Yeah. Wow. I love this one Gen Z's interview, just like, it was just intelligent, well thought out. It was a 10 on 1 to 10 scale. It was an 11 until the end, and then it went to a 0 and imploded and was the worst take ever. It was amazing how like 95% of the thought was brilliant. It was just like, I just don't know what you people are doing. Adult people, I'm a young adult, but you older adults and you elderly folks for decades, for years, just spend, just running up the deficit, trillions of dollars, tens of trillions of dollars, nothing in sight that seems to stop it. What are you guys doing? How do you expect my generation to handle this? How do you expect my generation to take this on, especially when we're not going to be working? I was like, what? When we don't intend on working. I'm like, wow. You're going to live in the basement at mom and dad's? How do you pay a mortgage, car note, eat, drink, live? Got to work. Capitalistic society. I don't know. It's just it was brilliant right up until the when I don't intend on working part. Rouse's Markets phone lines. What's that, Miss Peaches? We've just got a huge surge in the 18 to 34 demographic. Wow, that's amazing.
Well, they're not working.
Yeah, so. That's right. So, but kind of bashing them was help build audience.
Listen.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Rouse's Markets phone line 766-9480. How many side streets in the French Quarter on Bourbon between Canal and Ursuline? Rob in New Orleans got that $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. He was like 12 or 13. And that's really a great answer because Orleans is sort of not only does it kind of only run through about 60% of the quarter from Rampart to Decatur, it's sort of in between, what is that, St. Anne on one side and maybe St. Philip on the other, if I'm not mistaken. It's like in between those streets, like it's a half block, that block shorter Orleans to the next street over on either side. So it's really, on either side of Orleans on Bourbon, you have 6 streets. From Orleans to Canal, 6, and from Orleans to Esplanade, 6. When you count Orleans, it's 13 streets. Rob said 12 or 13. I like the answer. The reason I like the answer, not only to give Rob a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate, but it tells you the amount of bollards that are needed. The 4 in the street, like Iberville at Bourbon, when they're in place, and if they're hardy enough, unlike the ones the city just ordered for the Super Bowl, which aren't hardy enough, the cheapest, crappiest ones, pathetic. You still need a single bollard on the sidewalk, on one side of the 4 in the street and on the other sidewalk. So it's 6 bollards across, 1 in the sidewalk, 4 in the street, 1 in the sidewalk. And then you need it on every single corner. It's about at least 20 applications of 6 bollards. So you're looking at maybe 120 or more bollards for Bourbon Street alone. Corey Johnson with you till 6.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. 300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out. You'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country for more than 125 years. Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road, no matter what. Delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans at portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at...
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
To the new Tracy's on Magazine, there's no bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the district.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about, it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, by harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground.
You can say anything you please about me, but don't say anything bad about Blue Boy.
Down, Blue Boy. Good buddy. It's so very true. Criticize me all you like. 766-9480. 766-9480. Do not say anything disparaging about Blue Boy. He's an innocent, gentle creature, a loving creature, Mr. Blue Boy. I don't know if you knew this or not, Miss Peaches, but because he's a basset, he has those large ears, he can flap them and fly. He literally can get airborne. And with the big paws, he can walk on water. It's pretty amazing. Yep, he's Blue Boy. Pretty amazing. Hey, I've got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. The Girl Scouts, they're discontinuing some of the cookies. No more Thin Mints. Oh, I'm joking. They're not going anywhere. That was like their number one seller. No more Scout S'mores, and no more Toastier. I don't know what Toastiers are. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 remain, including Thin Mints. So really just 6 left. Name any of the 6 remaining Girl Scout cookies besides Thin Mints and the 2 that are discontinued. And they don't count, the Scout S'mores and the Toastier. They're discontinued. 6 remain besides Thin Mints. That's 7. Name one of the 6 remaining besides Thin Mints that still exist that you can purchase from the Girl Scouts, from the Scouts. Name any one of the 6 remaining cookies from the Girl Scouts, and I'll give you a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. 766-9480. 766-9480. I was a Thin Mints guy exclusively, Miss Peaches. That's pretty much all I bought were the Thin Mints. Those are pretty damn good. They're not bad. You know, it's amazing. The, what are they? The Keebler, like, I guess, deluxe grams, like the graham cracker with the chocolate on the outside. They are like so mediocre out the package at room temperature. They're just sort of mediocre. They're almost like not that good, to be honest with you. Out the refrigerator, they kick ass and take names. They go from like a 3 level at room temperature. A deluxe grams goes to like a 10 level with it when they're refrigerated. Are you into that, Miss Peaches, or no? Deluxe grams like a 3 on a 1 to 10 scale room temperature and like a 10 when out of the refrigerator.
I don't know. I think I like them like the same either way. Like I don't like one either way.
Now, one problem with the refrigerator, Miss Peaches, they stick together.
Yeah, I think that.
Room temperature, they kind of just slide up. You might get a little chocolate on your fingers. No, the refrigerator, you pull one out and it snaps off half the graham cracker of the other cookie next door, his buddy. That's the only thing you have to watch out for. I literally, Miss Peaches, just a little, info about the deluxe grams at the fridge. I would take a butter knife and stick it between them before enjoying them because you need a little separation. Anyway, I think deluxe grams are ridiculously mediocre. I'm not interested in them at all at room temperature. But out of the refrigerator, they're one of my favorites.
Only refrigerator.
Yep. It's kind of like some women I know, you know? Rouse's Markets phone lines. Geez, I'm losing a whole demographic of listeners, and now I'm going to have to go dateless. I'm bashing women now. It's terrible. Can we rewind, Miss Peaches? Can we take it back? Can we take it all back? I want the Gen Z. Ladies, I love you. I want a date. Oh, boy. It's getting worse. I'm digging a big hole. 766-9480. Robert joins us in Slidell. What's up, Robert?
Hey, Corey. How you doing, man?
Doing well. Yourself?
Can't complain. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Hey, I follow you on Twitter and saw that you had made the trek down to Bourbon. What's it like down there? Is it somber?
No, I mean, outside of like the memorial, it's sort of business as usual on Bourbon. There's people going to and from restaurants to work. You know, you got street peddler type folks down there, the usual scene. But no, there's a big memorial at Canal and Bourbon. There's a lot of media, national, international, local media. You know, some of them set up for like, we're going to be here for a few days, that type of thing. But no, I wouldn't say it's somber. Right by that memorial, it is. A lot of people paying their respects, you know, closing their eyes, sign of the cross, getting down on a knee, praying, putting one hand on the wall or touching the, you know, right in front of it, something in front of it, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say somber, Robert.
Well, it's Man, that's sad. And I saw the pictures that you posted at of those little yellow. I'm not calling them little, but man, it's going to take a lot to harden that because even if at Bourbon and Canal you got that completely marked off, what about Iberville and then Bienville and then Conti and St. Louis, Toulouse, all the way down St.
Yep.
Peter, all the way to Esplanade.
Yep. No, you're right. And then, okay, so you've secured Bourbon Street. What about when the crowd goes to the concert or to the game or to, the day of and they're walking from their hotels? There's 35,000 hotel rooms in the CBD in the French Quarter. Or excuse me, 28,000. I think they're 38,000 total. 28,000. So, I mean, you got tens of thousands of people going to the Dome, the arena, the convention center. No, I mean, that person can take out people anywhere they want when they're willing to die.
The two things that I was thinking about, I'm honestly surprised this didn't happen sooner. But I always envisioned somebody, on Mardi Gras night or Saturday before Mardi Gras or New Year's Eve at 12 o'clock midnight, going down there when it's packed, sardines and just detonating a vest or something. And that's what I envisioned the first terrorist attack being in New Orleans.
When you harden areas, let's say you harden every area around the Dome, the arena, 5 miles of parade route, all kind of, bollards and barriers, and you've hardened every area, then it's going to be an individual instead of a vehicle that's willing to die. It'll be a big duffel bag with a bomb and willing to die. So, yeah, it's just very hard in a free society like we have where you're not going to have, follow people, have tabs on everybody, cameras everywhere, and arrest people that don't deserve to be arrested and that type of thing. It's very hard in a, capitalistic free democracy like we have in the United States to protect people all the time from someone who's willing to die killing people.
Yeah. And, what do you think about these calls for Ann Kirkpatrick to resign?
No, I think it's ridiculous. Like, she didn't know that these archers were in some warehouse, didn't know they existed. Didn't matter if she knew or not, wasn't going to use them anyway. No one was saying before, I've never heard any city official, any media member, any citizen ever say, boy, you better secure sidewalks. No one was complaining for Bayou Classic, New Orleans Bowl, for Taylor Swift. Boy, you better secure sidewalks in the quarter from a terrorist attack. So this is all after the fact, Monday quarterbacking. That's one. If you want to be critical of the media, this is a legitimate criticism when, especially the opinionated media, this guy, Arroyo, whatever his name is, the Pee Wee Herman looking guy who's on Fox, who says he's from New Orleans, that I've only known him since I've seen him in the last few years on Fox. He says Kirkpatrick should resign, didn't know those things exist. They've never been on a sidewalk ever. They're just a big heavy metal thing. Could have parked an SUV there. No one was thinking protect the sidewalks from a terrorist attack. This all after the fact, Monday quarterbacking. So to answer your question, Robert, no. So far, Ann Kirkpatrick, one of a few spokes on the wheel that are helping to reduce the violent crime in New Orleans, a positive. So not knowing where these archers are or were located, didn't know the city had them. Those things are hooked together like 3 or 4 in a row to block a street. They're not designed for a sidewalk. They can just be used for a sidewalk because they're big and bulky. So no one was calling for them. No one said that's part of procedure. There's a lot of things. Ann Kirkpatrick, the mayor, the city council, you, me, the general public, doesn't know this is some city-owned warehouse somewhere. Irresponsible journalists for ripping her. City had these big metal archer things. There's a lot of big metal things the city has that they could have put on a sidewalk in the quarter to block the quarter. It's all after the fact nonsense, in my opinion, Robert. Anyway, all right, Robert's out of there. No, I think the bollard talk, the barrier talk, it's out of control. Made me go down to the quarter and verify what I already knew just from personal life experience going down there. saw the vehicle go around, the white Lightning F-150 go around the police SUV, the big Suburban. It's as wide as the barrier behind it. Went up on the sidewalk, went around. The barrier's up, could have gone around the same way. If the bollards were up at Iberville, the truck had more Canal. On the left sidewalk at Canal around the barrier, there's more room on the right sidewalk by the bollards at Iberville by Felix's to go around, like 12 feet instead of 9 feet. I brought a tape measure out there yesterday. It's 9 feet from the wall of the building across the sidewalk to that barrier at Canal and Bourbon, 9 feet. An F-150 Lightning is 80 inches or 7 feet, 8 inches wide. More than enough room to pass there. And then about 12 feet by Felix's, so more than enough room there. No, so even if the system was in place, which is like 50% of the complaint, why were they repairing the bollards? Why wasn't they in place before? Wouldn't have prevented it. Would not have prevented it. Would have slowed down the F-150 at Felix's. And then who knows? Maybe he wouldn't have been going so fast where he lost control of the truck in the third block and ran into that piece of machinery, that construction equipment. Maybe if he has to slow down at Felix's town, he would have kept going farther. I mean, who knows? But what we do know is barriers up or down, bollards up, I mean, they're in place or not, an F-150 Lightning could have gone around. I went down there and measured it myself with a tape measure. The video's on my Twitter at Corey Johnson, and then just Googled what an F-150 Lightning, the width of one is, 80 inches. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. 766-9480. Girl Scout cookies. They're discontinuing Scout s'mores and toast yay. But there are 7 other cookies that they are continuing, including everyone's favorite, the Thin Mints. Of the other half dozen Girl Scout cookies that exist now besides Thin Mints, just name one of the half dozen. And I'll give you a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. 766-9480. Miss Peaches, I don't think I could name besides Thin Mints, to be honest with you. You can name another one besides Thin Mints, one of your favorite Girl Scout cookies. So what, if they come, you'd get Thin Mints in this other box of the other one? I can't think of another name, so I would lose. But Miss Peaches says she can come up with one.
Mine's actually an extra question.
What? Put on your microphone. What are you saying? It's radio.
My favorite actually had a name change not too long ago.
Yeah, there are 2 of them that go by different names because they say they're different bakers in different parts of the country. So like if the Miss Peaches Bakery in Minnesota was making, they might be called like chocolate, goofball. And if the Corey Bakery in Florida, they're called chocolate snowball and they box them that way.
I think that.
So I guess they're subbing it out to these cookie makers.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same cookie, but they literally changed the
different name. Yeah. Yep. I've got, let's see, besides Thin Mints, I said there's 6 others. 2 of the 6 others go by 2 names, just like you're saying. So some folks might know them as blank, and other folks know them as blank, and it's the exact same cookie, just different parts of the country. Now, I was reading up a little girl. It's important. It's important to know these things. Don't you wish you had like an erase button for your brain? Like after today's show, I could erase the Girl Scout cookie knowledge. Like, I don't think that's going to help me in any way in life. I like saying life, like I liked saying Arctic Blast earlier. Arctic Blast. We're experiencing an Arctic blast weather-wise, and I experienced one with Oreos at Dairy Queen. I think it's a blizzard, actually, at the Dairy Queen. It was pretty damn good. A mediocre ice cream that's just, they double down on the sugar. It's so sweet. And then Oreo pieces put in there. Yummy. I think you could live off that. Eat that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you'd have a nice, healthy life. I think you could live off of that. You ever saw the movie where the guy ate McDonald's for 30 days? Yeah, Supersize Me and how sick he got like about 3 weeks in.
Yeah.
Is just,
Some others.
and then the guy
he died in real life.
that guy did,
Mm-hmm.
and then from McDonald's, and then the guy who didn't wear a sports coat or a suit very often, and like he had to go to like a funeral or a wedding or something. It was like 4 years later, back and he sticks his hand in the front pocket and there's like a cheeseburger wrapped in the cellophane still. He's like, holy smokes. And he opens it up and there's no mold, mildew, no discoloration. He said the bun, I mean, they showed a picture, the bun, the meat, everything looked like it was earlier that day. It didn't look like it was 4 years later.
Isn't that crazy?
Totally crazy. Then he ate it. No, he didn't eat it. But
It doesn't naturally break down.
No.
That's not natural.
That's not a good thing. I think there's some additives and preservatives in that. I'm guessing, Miss Peaches. I'm just going to roll the dice. Little deductive reasoning. I'm going with additives and preservatives. Yes. Wow. Dipped in it. Jeez and Pete's. Actually, one of the last Big Macs I ate, it was one of the most popular McDonald's in the history of the chain. Did some of the best business in the history of the chain. The one on LSU's campus. And the one in the plaza in New Orleans East was one of the biggest in the chain for a little while. But anyway, this is late 80s, my last Big Mac. Yeah, so like 35 years ago. Came out of like Murphy's bar, like 12:31 in the morning, walked across the street to the McDonald's, got the Big Mac, used to come in that styrofoam container, ate the Big Mac. And I remember telling my buddy walking like to the dorm or wherever I was going, I was like, dude, it feels like the Big Mac is still stacked up in its original shape and the styrofoam container is wrapped around it. And that's in my stomach right now. It doesn't feel like chewed up food is in my stomach. It feels like the Big Mac is stacked up, 3 buns, the whole, yep.
With the styrofoam.
With the styrofoam. I was like, I don't think I'm eating McDonald's anymore. I've had a bacon biscuit, that hockey puck terrible biscuit with bacon from a McDonald's since then, but I haven't had any McDonald's hamburger meats in 35 years. And we kind of go through this routine every 6 months, Miss Peaches. You've heard it too many times. I've never had Taco Bell in my life. I've never had Checkers or Rallies in my life. Haven't had a Wendy's burger since high school, since before the McDonald's. Hadn't had I thought the Whopper was okay. And then one day I'm eating the Whopper. I'm like halfway through it and just that gray meat. I was like, oh my God. I thought it was kind of nasty. So I started eating a Whopper Junior and I'd finish that and be like, well, I could have one more bite. Like that was satisfying, sort of. And that's probably been about 25 years since I've had Burger King meat. I've had those crazy onion rings, those freeze-dried onion rings at Burger King. Those are pretty good. Let's see. I haven't had Popeyes in probably a decade. Okay. Just not a big fan of Popeyes anymore. Just something disappointments. The red beans, the biscuit, the chicken, something's crappy every time. So I guess I eat a little bit of Chick-fil-A, which I think is highly overrated. I think it's absurdly salty. I don't think they bread it in-house. I mean, the nuggets look like they came out of a bag pre-breaded to me. Anyway, and no changes. Can I get it extra crispy? No. You're breading them. How about naked? No batter. No.
My pleasure.
It's Chick-fil-A. We're clean. We do it our way, and you got to take it our way, and that's it. And we're closed on Sunday.
My pleasure.
But I'm probably at Cane's. I go maybe once every few weeks. New Orleans Raising Cane's or Baton Rouge's Raising Cane's, the local product. So yeah, Miss Peach, it's not too much fast food. Not too much fast. It's like my emergency, and probably really only like Cane's and Chick-fil-A now. Not too interested in the other stuff. Crap. I saw Bill Maher. One time he was talking about, just like recently, McDonald's is so good. That's why everybody likes it. It tastes so good. Do you think McDonald's tastes good, Miss Peaches? Like a Big Mac or a quarter pounder? You're like, this is good? Like, or you'd like, there's 20 other burgers you'd rather be eating, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't really eat a McDonald's burger, I don't think, for like the the flavor, the taste. Like that's not the best.
Bill Maher was
burger.
arguing everybody loves it, and that's why they eat it because it tastes so great, like bacon. And
No, I'd rather. I mean, if
it's like really
fast food burgers, like I'd always rather Wendy's over McDonald's.
or go up to like that Five Guys level or something.
Yeah. Oh
even,
no. Yeah.
you know?
I just feel like once you go Five Guys and all, that's like
You're never gonna
different-
go.
diff-
Yep.
That's not. Can't explain. That's not.
It's not kind of
inexpensive
fast casual.
food.
Yeah, it's kind of fast
There's
casual.
like inexpensive fast food.
Yeah,
like a
that's
whole
more
different-
expensive.
Yeah. Up higher.
Yeah. Anyway, Rouse's Markets phone line 766-9480. Girl Scout cookies. There are 6 outside of Thin Mints that exist. Name any of the 6 cookies, Girl Scout cookies, besides Thin Mints, and I'll give you a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. Every day at home, every day on the program, it's got to be Evermore, New Orleans' own Evermore, EVAMOR. Google them for home delivery, office delivery to find out more about maybe the best water on earth. Clearly better water. EVAMOR, evermore.com. The bottling plant sits on top of the aquifer, which is about 35 miles, 40 miles from the Dome, from the French Quarter, Covington. EVAMOR, clearly better water. Evermore, evermore.com. I'm going to take a sip right now. Yummy. Smooth and delicious. Goes down easy. Boy, it's cold out there. Our high today was about 44 degrees. Back into the 30s. It's happening within the next hour or so. The terrorist attack, boy, the bollards, the barriers, just uninformed people just mouthing off after the fact, Monday quarterback, and never thinking of any of this stuff themselves, never ever hearing about it. But since it happened, should have had better protection. Yeah, no doubt, because it happened, because it happened. The president in town yesterday, 13 days left of the Joe Biden administration. A week from this Monday, Donald Trump is in. Joe Biden is out at the White House. Speaking of Donald Trump, today, he didn't want to rule out using military force if necessary to take Greenland, from Greenland, to kind of seize ownership of Greenland, make it a U.S. territory. It's essentially a Danish territory. I want to say Denmark. It's like some autonomous territory of Denmark. Like they're their own thing, but they're kind of a Danish territory. So we would be stealing a country from our ally. And then the Panama Canal wants that back. And then you wouldn't be flying over the Gulf of Mexico if Donald Trump has his way. He wants to call it the Gulf of America. Beautiful ring to it. That's what he said. Beautiful ring to it. Gulf of America. Promising a golden age of America. We'll find out in 13 days when Donald Trump becomes president for another 4 years. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. A couple of lawyers, part of that Operation Sideswipe in federal court, Vanessa Mata, Jason Giles, pleading not guilty to that December 6th indictment they got last month. Bogus crashes, fraud, conspiracy, obstruction of justice, witness tampering. I don't know. I think Vanessa Mata and Jason Giles may eventually plead guilty. But finally, some big fish. It's been mostly the slammers. Those people that someone drives into an 18-wheeler and back injuries. The slammer. Boy, they had a great video I saw on Twitter, on social media. Literally, Miss Peaches, it's these folks driving down the road, highway. Car in the left lane, just stops. So the car behind them has to, stop. And then they put it in reverse and ram the car behind them and then drive back up. And then everyone gets out with a neck and back injury like the car behind them rammed them. Too bad the car behind them had a dash camera.
Right.
Caught the whole thing. But it was so sad and pathetic. Miss Peaches, just watching these people, like one hand on their neck and one hand on their back, all three of them.
They came prepared.
Yep. Now I'll tell you something, and you can say whatever you want. I'm just telling you the true story. I was late for a tea time at Eastover. And at golf, you're late, you miss the tea time, you're done. They're stacked on top of each other. There's no slipping in 20 minutes later. You're done. So I'm going to Eastover, and it wasn't like I was speeding or driving dangerously. I'm on the Bullard exit. It's like 25 years ago, Miss Peaches. And I'm like, I'm awake for like 12 minutes from my house. Like I'm rubbing sleep out of my eye. You know, I'm at a traffic light. I'm like the third car that's waiting to turn on the Bullard off the interstate. And I guess I didn't have my foot depressed on the brake enough, and I tapped the car in front of me. Like tapped him. Like I'm like, son of a, whatever. And I put in reverse, back up a foot, and I kind of just wave at the person, like parking in the olden days, you might have tapped someone's bumper harder than I tapped this car. I can't, it wasn't 2 miles an hour and I jolted them or me. I mean, my reaction was like, whoa, like, it wasn't even like, God, it was just like, so I barely rolled into them, just touched their bumper, backed up. Light turns green. The first car goes. They're just sitting there. So I'm like, what is up? So I put my car in park. I get out and I walk up to the window, and this woman's sitting there, and I just flail my hands like, is there a problem? And she's just like moving slow. And I don't know if I opened the door, she rolled down the window, and she just looked at me with this most just pathetic look, like barely could sell it. Oh, my neck and back. Oh, my neck and back. I said, oh, really? Your neck and back? And I just stormed right back to my car, got in it, drove around them, and made it about 3 minutes before my tea time. And I think I hit a good drive down number 1, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm telling you, just lying, just couldn't even sell it, but was looking for some kind of insurance thing. I'm like, oh, really? Your neck and back? And seriously, some friends of mine are like, dude, might have got your plate. I'm like, bring the police on. Yeah, arrest me for leaving the scene because there was no hit and run. I wouldn't even call it a tap and run. It was a touch and run. There was no damage. It was a joke. There was nothing going on. There was no reason to stay. If you want to arrest me, arrest me. So I was willing to, but it was just, oh, my neck and back. I was just like, right there, I was like, this is the most pathetic human being I've ever seen in my life at this very moment. Just so lame, so pathetic, so weak, just so couldn't even sell it good. I mean, come on, try again. Let's start sell it a little bit. Oh, my neck and back, something, sell it. Because this is the lamest crap. Oh gosh, okay, I'll pull over. Let's call the police. Crazy. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, yes, that is a jar of Blue Plate mayonnaise on the television studio set. Spread the love. New Orleans' own Blue Plate. They've only been around for about 98 years. 98 years this year. Since 1927. 96 years. Wait, was that 1927? 98 years. Why do I have 96 on there? 98 years of spreading the love. A New Orleans family tradition. If you're a New Orleanian, it's got to be Blue Plate. New Orleans mayonnaise, Blue Plate mayonnaise.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning has pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Come experience the best of these in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar Causeway. Smoothie King.
Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30, and they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool.
Tracy's on Magazine. There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's. On Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana, legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Want a special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Yeah, you right. Miss Peaches and I were discussing child labor laws that have been abused in the United States. I mean, geez, the scouts pushing the cookies, a bunch of different things. The school or church group selling like wrapping paper. Why is it triple the price of Walgreens, which is expensive, And I got news for you, Miss Peaches. The world's greatest chocolate is like the world's most mediocre chocolate. They really need to change the name. I think that would be more appropriate. World's most mediocre chocolate.
But you could win like a bike. I mean, that was.
Oh, yeah. The seller. No, my buddy, they had these cards, these Tulane students, a couple like 22-year-old kids that were like, very advanced East Coast kids that went to Tulane. They'd get like me and like about 10 of my buddies from like high schools. And these cards, they'd be specific for a neighborhood. Obviously, those two guys sold 20 different businesses. You're going to be on this card. We're going to go door to door in the neighborhood within a 2-mile radius of your store. And, if someone buys a burger, the fries are free with this card. You go to the Shell station, they get an alignment free with an oil change, whatever. And then it's like $900 in services for $20, and it's all in your neighborhood. And some of them you might use, some you don't, whatever. The cards would go sell. I'll never forget, we do it after school. So it's like, 3:30 to like 6, 7 o'clock whenever it get dark. I'd knock on someone's door, like the dad would open the door like all mad. The mom and the 2 kids would be looking from the dinner table. There's food on the table. They're obviously having dinner. I'm like, sorry to bother you, My buddy who won the TV, I'm walking with him one time just to see how he sells so much. Same situation. He is pushing the door opening going, this will only take a minute. And he sold the dad, who was clearly irritated. My friend was just like, I want to sell the card. I don't care if dad's irritated or not. I'm like, that guy can sell snow to Eskimo, sand to, somebody like me, an Arab, just crazy. Then it's only take a minute. I'm like, God, Daddy don't want it,
He was wanting that bike or whatever.
Yeah, he wanted, it was a TV.
Oh,
he got the TV. He won the TV. He won the TV. Plus, he just make a lot of money selling them. I think you sold them for like $20 and we kept like 10 or something, or 5. It was for everyone you sold. So these guys were happy just to get the money, whatever, half of what we sold, the $10.
Well, that was always the kind of the gimmick, because all the candy we would sell for the bike, it would never add up. You might as well just go buy a bike at the store, because by the time you sold all that candy, it was just way, way more than the worth.
Of course.
Bike, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Or TV or whatever.
Yeah, the worst part is like mom or dad or yourself use like allowance money to put you over the top. You bought you had 2 boxes of candy in your closet for a month after it, to win the damn bike. You're like, wow, could have bought the bike with that cash. Wow. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. Heading home from work. You'll probably pass 2, maybe 3 Rouses. There are over 65 Rouses. There are over a third of all the Rouses in Metro New Orleans. A third of all Rouses are in Metro New Orleans, north of 20. Convenience, plus great quality, selection, and price. Tastes like home, Rouses Markets. Pelicans, 2-game win streak. Zion back tonight. Smoothie King Center, 7 o'clock. The 18 and 17 T-Wolves are in town. Play Zion. Hope he plays well. Hope he plays the best basketball of his life the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then trade him before next month's trade deadline, right? Blue Boy, what are you saying? 5.5 what? 5.5 weeks. Oh, it's been 5.5 years of Zion. Time to trade him. You're right, Blue Boy. Brandon Ingram, too? Wow, total rebuild. Blue Boy, you're not messing around. What? You don't want to hear my thoughts on the Saints? Your thoughts, Blue Boy? Wow. Corey Johnson with you. Thanks, Miss Peaches. See you tomorrow. Wide Open Wednesday, 4 o'clock. Be there.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.